शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां 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 शारदे पाहि मां शङ्कर रक्ष मां
शारदा शारदाम्भोज वदना वदनाबुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिः सन्निधिं क्रियात् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् अज्ञानां जाह्नवीतीर्थं विद्यातीर्थं विवेकिनां सर्वेषां सुखदं तीर्थं भारतीतीर्थमाश्रये विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागविवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुशेखरभारतीं सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः. Namaste. We are continuing our lectures on Vedanta through stotras. I think that we are going through the Vishnu Sahasranama. I invite Pranav Swaminathan to start the lectures. I think he's on the Pavitranam Pavitram and it has about 30 different shlokas as Anvaya that's given as a example. So I can't wait to start hearing about this lecture. Start, Pranav.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Ta Vishnu Pahityaha Yajno Vai Vishnuhu Yajnasya Dhrityai Pahi Yajnam Pahi Yajnapatim Pahi Mai Yajna Niyamityaha Yajna Yajamana Yatmane Tebhya Eva Shishama Shastena Artyai Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं भारती करुणापात्रं भारती पदभूषणं भारती पदमारूढं भारती तीर्थमाश्रये विद्यावनिकसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विधुशेखरभारतीं सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः. सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णाय क्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे कृष्णद्वैपायनं व्यासं सर्वलोकहिते रतं वेदाब्जभास्करं वन्दे शमादिनिलयं मुनिं सहस्रमूर्तेः पुरुषोत्तमस्य सहस्रनेत्राननपादबाहोः सहस्रनाम्नां स्तवनं प्रशस्तं निरुच्यते जन्मजरादिशान्ति श्रुत्वा धर्माण शेषेण पावनानि च सर्वशः युधिष्ठिरश्शान्तनवं पुनरेवाभ्यभाषत युधिष्ठिर उवाच किमेकं दैवतं लोके किं वाप्येकं परागिणं स्तुवन्तः कं कमर्चन्तः प्राप्नुयुर्मानवाः शुभं को धर्मः सर्वधर्माणां भवतः परमो मतः किं जपन्मुच्यते जन्तुर्जन्मसंसारबन्धनात् श्रीभीष्म उत्तरमुवाच जगत्प्रभुं देवदेवमनन्तं पुरुषोत्तमं स्तुवन्नाम सहस्रेण पुरुषः सततोत्थितः तमेव चार्चयन् नित्यं भक्त्या पुरुषमव्ययम् ध्यायन् स्तुवन्नमस्यांश्च यजमानस्तमेव च अनादिनिधनं विष्णुं सर्वलोकमहेश्वरं लोकाध्यक्षं स्तुवन्नित्यं सर्वदुःखातिको भवेत् ब्रह्मण्यं सर्वधर्मज्ञं लोकानां कीर्तिवर्धनं लोकनाथं महद्भूतं सर्वभूतभवोद्भवम् एष मे सर्वधर्माणां धर्मोऽधिकतमो मतः यद्भक्त्या पुण्डरीकाक्षं स्तवेरर्चेन्नरः सदा परमय्यो महत्तेजः परमय्यो महत्तपः परमय्यो महद्ब्रह्म परमय्यः परायणम् पवित्राणां पवित्रं यो मङ्गलानां च मङ्गलं दैवतं देवतानां च भूतानां यो व्ययः पिता. In the previous lecture, we had started looking at what is Pavitranam Pavitram. So, to answer the first question of Kimekam Daivatam Loke, Bhishma answers the remaining 5 questions and comes to this question last, mainly because of the depthness of this question. So, for that, for who is the god among the gods, 4 Visheshanas or 4 qualities are described. पवित्राणां यः पवित्रं मङ्गलानां च मङ्गलं देवतानां च दैवतं भूतानां यः अव्ययः पिता. So for this pavitranam pavitram yaha, we saw a basic dvaitic representation of what pavitram is. This pavitra comes from the pu dhatu, which means to purify, and the tra pratyaya, like how we see in shastra stotra, like that. So in the basic artha, we saw that pavitranam pavitram, पावनानां तीर्थादीनां पवित्रं, परमस्तु पुमान् ध्यायतः ध्यातः दृष्टः कीर्तितः स्तुतः सम्पूजितः स्मृतः प्रणतः पाप्मनः सर्वान् उन्मूलयति इति परमं पवित्रम्. संसारबन्धुहेतुभूतं पुण्यात्मकं कर्म तत्कारणं च अज्ञानं सर्वं नाशयति स्वयथात्मज्ञानेन इति वा पवित्राणां पवित्रम्. So we saw the 2 arthas, meaning the Dvaita artha and the Advaita artha. So until now we saw that one that is the most the purifier among the purifiers. But now we will see the Advaita artha of that. For this, Shankaracharya gives quotations from Shruti, Smriti, Itihasa, Purana, and we will see how all of these support only his point. So the first quotation is Rupamarogyamardhamscha bhogamschaivanusankitan anushangikan dadati dhyayato nityam apavarga prado harihi. Apavarga meaning moksha. And what this quotation is saying is, Hari is the one that grants mukti and also bestows that on those who meditate upon him. What Rupam Arogyam Arthamscha. Rupam meaning that looks, Arogyam good health, and Artha or wealth, and continuous worldly happiness. Bhogamscha eva Anushangikan. So he gives all these Lokika Sukhas as well, and this Paramam Sukham Dadatit Dhyayato Nityam Apavarga Prado Harihi. To those who are constantly dhyanam or meditating upon Hari, he also gives this mukti. In the Karana of the Vyakhyana itself, Shankara Bhagatpada says, Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shanti. Janma Jaradi Shanti Niruchyate. Meaning, this is being commented upon for moksha. Meaning, moksha is the abhava of Janma and Jara. Right? So for that moksha, this is being commented upon. But like how we see in the Phalashruti, if sadhana is said to be a moksha sadhana, it can easily also be applied as a kamya sadhana for artha, kama, and the Chaturvedas, the other 3, artha, artha and kama also. So for that, the next shloka which he quotes is Chintyamanas samastanam kleshanam hanido hiyaha samutsajya kilam chintyam sochitah kinna chintyate. This quotation is saying that when Hari destroys all grief, all dukkha by simple meditation upon him, why should not one leave aside all other objects of thoughts and constantly not meditate upon him. Chintyamanaha samastanam kleshanam hanidaha hiyaha samutsujjakhilam chintyam saha achyutaha kinna chintyate. So when Hari destroys all this grief just by this meditation, why should we even meditate upon anything else? The entire time can be spent on only Hari Dhyana, is the tatparya of this shloka. The next shloka is ध्यायेन् नारायणं देवं स्नानादिषु च कर्मसु प्रायश्चित्तं हि सर्वस्य दुष्कृतस्येति वै श्रुतिः. And this is from Garuda Purana, saying, Dhyayen Narayanam. One should meditate upon Narayana. And when snana dishuja karmasu, during snana and all karmas as well, prayaschittam hi sarvasya dushkritasyeti vai shrutihi. Because this is a purification, penance for all bad actions. Prayaschittam hi sarvasya dushkritasya prayaschittam. So this is said to be a prayaschittam for all papas, according to Shruti. The next quotation is संसार सर्प संदृष्टन अष्टचेष्ट्वैकभेषजं कृष्णेति वैष्णवं मंत्रं श्रुत्वो मुक्त्वा भवेन्नरः. So one is freed or muktah, one is liberated by listening to the name Krishna. Krishneti Vaishnavam mantram shrutva. This Vaishnava or mantra relating to Vishnu, that is Krishna, Krishneti Vaishnavam mantram shrutva. After hearing this, Naraha muktaha bhavet. This human is freed from uh, samsara. And that's why in the first line he says, Samsara sarpa sandashta nashta chetveka bheshajam. Or he is freed from all the samsara that is like a sarpa. And in the case that one is um, even bit by a sarpa, the only prayashitta or remedy for that is this Krishna Nama. The next quotation is Atipataka yuktopi dhyayan nimishamachutam bhuyas tapasvi bhavati pankti pavana pavanaha. So Atipataka yuktopi, even one that has committed the Atipatakas. We have the Panchamahapataka, then Atipataka. Even a great papi like that, Dhyayet nimisham achyutam. Achyutam nimisham dhyayet. If he just meditates upon Achyuta, the one without any nasha, the one that is uh, ever immortal, unchanging, that cannot be destroyed, that Achyuta, dhyayet, dhyayan, he becomes tapasvi bhavati. He again becomes a tapasvi. Bhuyas tapasvi bhavati pankti pavana pavanaha. And not just any pure person. Because of his purity, the entire pankti or that entire assembly will also become pure. Pankti pavana pavanaha. Pavanaha means one that is pure. Pankti pavana pavanaha meaning the one that is so pure that even his presence purifies the entire pankti. For example, before bhojana, we should only do bhojana with pure people that who have not committed papas. So for that, the Krishna Yajurvedins, they have this mantra called the Trisuparnam, which says, Ye brahmanas Trisuparnam pathanti te somam prapnuvanti asahasrat panktim punanti. So because of this panktim punanti, this pankti or this line or this group where they're eating, that becomes purified. Like that also we see in the story of Apastamba that when a person that did Gohatya tried to eat with him, he separated the pankti with water. That is why he got the name Apastamba. And because of that, the pankti dosha did not come. Like that, the next quotation is from Linga Purana, where he says, Alodya sarvashastrani vicharya cha punah punaha idamekam sunishpannam dhyeyo narayana sada. So even after thoroughly studying all the Shastras, alotya sarva shastrani vicharya cha punah punah, and by doing contemplation, vicharya cha punah punah, again, contemplating on the Shastras, idamekam sunushpannam, dheyo narayana sada. After reading all of that, at the end, the final conclusion or the sara of that is that Narayana should be meditated upon. Dhyayo Narayana Sada. Sada, always meditate on Narayana, is the outlook of all Shastras. In Gita also we see Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvatas Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanataha. So whatever water you get from an ocean or just a small well, the end goal is that water, right? Whatever that is sufficient for one person. So like that, even after reading all the Vedas and Shastras and everything, the conclusion or the Sara seems to be the same. The next quotation is Harireka Sada Dhyeyo Bhavadbhis Sattva Samsthitaihi Omityevam Sada Vipraha Patatadhyayata Keshavam. So he is saying, you should always in your Satvika aspect meditate upon Hari, because Harireka Sada Dhyeya. Omityevam sada vipraha patatadhyayata keshavam. And meditate upon this pranava and this keshava, upon Hari alone forever, and recite the ekakshara omityevam. The next quotation is from Mundaka Upanishad, which already we had seen in the previous lectures, which was Bhidyate Hridaya Grantihi Chityate Sarvashamshayaha Kshigante Chasya Karmani Tasmin Drishte Paravare. In that drishti of this Jiva Brahma drishti, the Jiva Brahma Aikya drishti, Drishte Paravare, Bhidyate Hridaya Grantihi, the the grantha or the knots of the heart are broken, all doubts vanish. Chidyate sarva shamshayaha, shiyante chasya karmani, and that karma that he has done that causes a new birth, those are also destroyed. Asya karmani kshiyante cha. The next quotations are from Vishnu Purana, where he says, Yannama kirtanam bhaktya Vilapam, Vilapanam Anuttamam, Maitreya Sheshapapanam, Dhutanam Iva Pavakaha. Or the repetition of his name with devotion is the best purifier of all sins. Yannama Kirtanam Bhaktya Vilapanam Anuttamam. Maitreya Sheshapapanam Dhatunam Iva Pavakaha. And how is this? It is like, hey, Maitreya, he is calling him, like how Agni purifies the metals. Like that, the Harinama is seen to be the greatest purification. And how does Agni purify metals? For that, Kalidasa says in Raghuvamsha, Tam santa shrotumarhanti sadasad vyakti hetavaha hemna saunlakshate hyagno vishuddhishyami kapiva. Are the people eligible to um, kind of critic on Raghuvamsha are those santas or those vidwans that are the sadasat vyakti hetavaha, that they have the viveka between sat and asat. They know the difference between sat and asat. And it is like hemna samlakshate hyagno vishuddhishyamika piva. Only by putting gold in fire can we purify that gold from the other metals. Suppose if it's not pure gold and it's mixed with other metals, only by putting it in Agno, Vishuddhihi Shyamika Piva, we can see if it's pure or impure. Like that, this Agni also has the capacity to destroy all our papas. That is why Krishna says, Jnanagnis sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. So again, all of these quotations are just repeating the same point on why this Hari Dhyana should be done. The next quotation is Aveshanapi uh, Avashenapi yannamni kirtite sarvapatakehi puman vimuchyate sadyah simhatraster vrikairiva. And by the repetition, even unconsciously, Avashenapi. Avashena means without actually consciously trying to. Avashen, Avashenapi yannamni kirtite sarvapatakehi. He is purified from all patakas or papas. And how is it? Because it is like how the wolves they run away after hearing the cry or the sound of the simha. Simhatrastair virkairiva. Simha meaning lion and virka meaning wolf. How if the lion yells, all the wolves go run away. Like that, the papas go away by saying the Harinama. ध्यायन् कृते यजन्यज्ञैः त्रेतायां द्वापरेऽर्चयन् यदाप्नोति तदाप्नोति कलौ संकीर्त्य केशवम्. This shloka also he had quoted before. Like whatever we would have reached, yadapnoti dhyayan krite yajan yajnaihi tretayam dwaparerchayan. By doing all this dhyana in the Krita Yuga and by this yajnas in the Treta Yuga and the puja in the Dwapara Yuga, tadapnoti, we get that same phalam, we get the same end goal in this Kali, Kalau Sankirtya Keshavam, by doing the Sankirtana of Keshava. Harir Harati Pap, next quotation Shankara gives is Harir Harati Papani दुष्टचित्तैरपि स्मृतः अनिच्छयापि अनिच्छयापि संस्पृष्टः दहत्येव हि पावकः. So Hari destroys the sin when meditated upon even by the evil-minded. Dushchittaihi api. Like how fire touched even unaware, mistakenly it burns. Anichchayapi samsprishtaha. Ichchaya meaning with the thought of doing that. Anichchaya means even without wanting to doing that, without that ichcha, samsprishtaha dahati, pavakaha dahati. How pavakaha or agni, it burns. You know, Krishna says, Name dveshyosti na priyaha. Like how Ishvara does not have one that is a dvesha or one that is a priya, the one that is liked by him or not liked by him. But if we go near Ishvara, we will get that heat. If we see Ishvara's Agni. Like that, even if we do Ishvara Dhyana or Ishvara Nama Sankirtana unknowingly, that result is same because our papas get destroyed. In the previous lecture also, we saw the same idea being said in 9th chapter of Gita, where Krishna says, Apichet Sudaracharah bhajate mamananyabhak sadhureva samantavyah samyak vyavasito hi saha. So even a durachara or a very bad person who worships me exclusively, bhajate mamananyabhak sadhuhu eva samantavyah, he should be thought of as a sadhu or a good person only. And why? Because he has a good resolve. Samyak vyavasito hi saha. And he soon becomes a dharmatma. Kshipram bhavati dharmatma. He will quickly become a dharmatma by that bhakti, is what Krishna also says. And the same point is also being said in all these Puranas and other quotations. The next quotation is Jnanato Jnanato Vapi Vasudevasya Kirtanat Tatsarvam Vilayam Yati Toyastham Lavanai Yatha. Again, another simile is recitation of the name of Vasudeva, knowingly or unknowingly. Jnanataha Ajnanato Vapi. By knowingly or unknowingly, from this Kirtana of Vasudeva, Vasudevasya Kirtanat, Tat Sarvam Virayam Yati, Toyastham Lavanayatha. Tat Sarvam, meaning all this samsara hetu, this papa, punya, karma, everything, Vilayam Yati, they go to destruction. Vilayam meaning pralaya, destruction, they dissolve. And how do they dissolve? Toyastham Lavanayatha. Like how lavana or salt dissolves in water. The lavana in water cannot be separated. It completely dissolves. Like that, the lavana or the papa gets completely destroyed by this unknowingly or unknowingly doing the Sankirtana of Keshava. The next quotation is Yasmin yasta matirna yati narakam swargopi yachintane vigno yatra niveshitatma manasaha brahmopi lokol मुक्तिं चेतसि यस्थितः अमलधियां पुंसां ददात्यव्ययः किञ्चित्रं यदघं प्रयाति विलयं तत्राच्युते कीर्तिते. In this also beautiful shloka that Shankara is quoting, he is saying that the man who fixes his mind on Vishnu goes not to hell. Narakam nayati. And he who meditates upon him, that Nirguna Chaitanya, even all these heavenly enjoyments are only a vighna. Yatra swargopi yachintane vignaha. Yatra niveshita atma manasaha. The one that is always thinking about Ishvara, even for him, swarga is a vigna. Swargopi yachintane vignaha. And he whose mind and soul are controlled by Ishvara thinks even very little of even Brahmaloka, which is said to be the highest loka. Brahmopi lokol pakaha, alpakaha lokaha brahma. So that Brahmaloka is also thought of as alpa, because when present in the minds of those with pure intellects, he confers them mukti. Muktim chetasi yaha sthitaha amaladhiyam. For those minds who are not impure. Pumsam dadatyavyeh kim chitram yadagham prayati vilayam tatra chute kirtite. So, because of this, when present in the minds that with pure intellects, he confers upon them mukti. And it is said to be a great mahima that the sins of one who repeats the name of Achyuta should be wiped away. The next quotation is Shamayalam jale vanhehe tamaso bhaskarodayah shantih kalau yaghaughasya nama sankirtanam harehe. So water is enough to extinguish fire. Shamayalam jale vanhehe tamaso bhaskarodayah. And to be freed from tamasa or darkness, this bhaskarodaya or the udaya or rise of the sun is enough. Shantih kalau hyaghogasya. And Nama Sankirtanam Harehe. And in the Kali Yuga, recitation of the names of Hari is enough to remove the accumulated sins of men. And all, by sins, it means all karma also. When we look at the Advaita, the Sanchami karma, all the karma also. Shantih kalau hyaghogasya. Agha means papa. Nama Sankirtanam Harehe. So just like how water is enough to destroy fire and how the sunrise is enough to destroy darkness, this Hari's Nama Sankirtana is enough to give Shanti and to remove Papa. The next quotation is Harer Namaiva 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 Mama Jivanam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gadiranyatha. This also beautiful shloka is saying that Hari's name only, Hari's name only, Hari's name only is in my life. Mama Jivanam, that is my life. Kalau nastyeva 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 gatiranyatha. And in this Kali Yuga, there is no anya gati other than Hari. Nastyeva nastyeva nastyeva. He is saying that three times for emphasis. There is no other gati, no other gati, no other gati other than Hari. Next, Shankara quotes, Stutva Vishnum Vasudevam Vipapo Jagate Naraha Vishnu Sampujanan Nityam Sarvapapam Pranashyati. So already I think we are getting the idea of what Shankara is trying to convey. But in order to show his guru that he has studied this all these granthas, he is showing that this same Vishaya has been said in so many places to give Dridha or Dardhya to this point. Again, this quote was Stutva Vishnum Vasudevam Vipapo Jagate Naraha Vishnoho Sampujanan Nityam Sarvapapam Pranashyati. Or a person becomes free from sins by praising the namas of Vasudeva, and who is Vishnu, who is Sarva Vyapi, omnipresent, and by daily worshipping him, all sins are destroyed. Vishnu Sampujana Nityam Sarva Papam Pranashyati. Next, he goes from Skanda Purana. Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu Nasti Tesham Amangalam Yesham Hridistho Bhagavan Mangalayatano Harihi. Sarvada Sarvakaryeshu. At all times, in all karmas, nasti tesham amangalam. There is no amangalam or abhava of prosperity for those who yesham hridistho bhagavan mangalayatano harihi. For who Bhagavan is in their hearts. Yesham bhagavan hridistha mangalayatano harihi. Because the one that gives mangala is Hari. So those in whose hearts reside Hari, the creator of all good and mangala, they are never met with any amangala, nasti tesham amangalam, or any evil in any of their undertakings. Sarvada sarvakaryeshu, there is never any amangalam. Next, nityam sanchintaye devam yogayukto janardanam sasyamanye pararaksha kohinasti achyutashrayam. Again, the same point is saying, centered in yoga or dhyana of Jiva Brahmaikya, one should daily meditate upon this Divya Janardana, Janardanam Yoga Yuktaha, Devam Janardanam. Sinchayet must be Chintana or meditated upon. This I consider as the greatest Raksha. Sasyamanne para Raksha. Kaha hinasti achyutashrayam. Hinasti meaning who is hurt. Achyutashrayam. Who that has taken refuge of Achyuta is hurt. And Achyuta is we saw meaning one that is not perishable, right? So that itself, this Ishvara Chintana, this yoga or this Yoga Yukta, like how Krishna says, Yoga Yukto Bhavarjuna, become one with yoga, and how by Nityam Sanchintayet Janardanam Devam. And for that, by doing that, their greatest protection, their greatest Raksha is this Namam. Because who is hurt? That is a bhakti of Vishnu, is what is the point is saying. Who would dare to harm the followers of Achyuta? Kaha hinasti Achyutashrayam. Even in the Markandeya Katha, we see that even after doing Ashrayana of Shiva, even Yama could not hurt Markandeya. Like that, who will dare to hurt a bhakta is the point of this sloka. Again, going back to the Punita aspect from Garuda Purana, he says, he quotes, Ganga Snana Sahasreshu Pushkara Snana Kotishu Yat Papam Vilayayati Smrite Nashyati Tad Dharau. Or in Hari, Harau, Smrite, that Smriti or the thought is equivalent to the papa that is destroyed by doing Ganga Snana 1,000 times. That same papa that is destroyed in 1,000 Ganga Snanas, Ganga Snana Sahasreshu, and 10 million Pushkara Snanas, Pushkara Snana Kotishu, Yat Papam Vilayayati, that what papa is dissolved or destroyed is equivalent to Smrite Nashyati Tadharo, the Chintana in Hari, and the papa is destroyed by that. The next quotation is Muhurtamapi yo dhyayet Narayanam Anamayam Sopi Siddhim Avapnoti Kim Punaha Tatparayanaha. So if one attains the accomplishment of his wishes by concentrating his thoughts for just one muhurta, which is just 48 minutes on this Anamayam, this undecaying Narayana, what to say of the one that is ever devoted to him? Sopi siddhimavapnoti kim punaha tatparayanaha. Tatparayanaha. The one that is doing tadeva param. The one that is always doing dhyana of Narayana. If even a person that does dhyana for just one muhurta or 48 minutes, if he gets siddhim avapnoti, sopi siddhim avapnoti, kim punaha tatparayanaha. What is the need to say again for the ones that only do that do that at all times? The next quotation from Vishnu Purana is Prayaschittan sheshani tapah karmatmakani vai yani tesham asheshanam krishnanusmaranam param. This shloka is very famous because we say it at the end of all our pujas, and especially the homas relating with Agni. We see even from Samitadhana into all Smarta homas also we use the shloka at the end after the Prayashittam yani kani cha papani. Again we are saying that that whatever god we worshipped destroys papa. Janmantara kritani cha. And tani tani vinashyanti pradakshina pade pade. By that pradakshina, all these papas are destroyed. Along with those shlokas, this shloka is also chanted. Parayaschittani asheshani tapaha karmatmakani vai. Yani tesham asheshanam krishnanusmaranam param. So the remembrance or the smarana of Krishna is far better than any such act like prayaschittadi ashesha karmani. Prayaschitta karmas that are to get rid of the effect of papa karmas, and ashesha, unlimited tapaha karmatmakani vai yani tesham asheshanam krishnanusmaranam param. So this Krishna's smaranam is said to be the paramam karma. The next quotation also from Vishnu Puranam is Kali kalmasham ati ugram narakarti pradam nranam prayati vilayam sadhyaha sakrityatrapi samsmrite. So in the Kali Yuga, which ensures to men sharp punishment in hell, ati ugram uh, nranam Narakarti Pradam, meaning this Naraka is Pradhanam in Kali Yuga because of the Adhikya of Papa and the Daurbalya, the reduction of Punya Karmas. When this Kali, in this Kali Kala, where Naraka, and even there, not any Sadharana Naraka, but Atyugram, the one that is very, very fierce, and the experiences there are all destroyed. Vilayam prayati sadyah sakridyatra api samsmrite. So is at once they are all destroyed by a single invocation of Hari. Prayati vilayam. They are all again destroyed. They go to Nasha. These dandanas in naraka. Sadyah sakrit yatrapi samsmrute. Sakrit yatrapi samsmrute. Sakrit meaning this ucharana of this nama. Again, continuing in the Vishnu Purana quotations, he quotes, Sakrit smritopi govindaha nrinam janma shataih kritam paparashim dahatyashu tularashim ivanalaha. Again, this fire or anala is being quoted. And what is the comparison is like fire to cotton. So, Govinda, if remembered just once, Sakrit smritopi govindaha nrinam janma shataih kritam. 8. Govinda, by doing smarana of Govinda just once, if remembered only once, quickly destroys the sins of men accumulated in hundreds of births. Janma shataihi kritam paparashim dahati ashu. Ashu meaning immediately. How just as fire burns up cotton, tularashim iva nalaha. Tularashim, like how this paparashim is being burned, this tularashim meaning tularashim, this tularashim meaning cotton, tularashi meaning tula meaning cotton, tularashim, these the cotton is burned uh, by fire. Just like that, the smarana of Govinda burns the papas. Paparashim dahatyashu tularashim ivanalaha. यथाग्निरुद्धतशिखः कक्षं दहति सानिलः तथा चित्तस्थितो विष्णुः योगिनां सर्वकिल्बिषम्. And just as the blazing fire with the wind burns dry grass, यथा अग्निः उद्धतशिखः कक्षं दहति सानिलः तथा चित्तस्थितः विष्णुः योगिनां सर्वकिल्बिषम्. So, just as the blazing fire through Vayu burns dry grass, like that Vishnu, seated in the heart, Chittisthaha, consumes the sins of the sages. Yoginam Sarvakilbisham. Next he quotes, Ekasmin apyatikrante muhurte dhyanabhajyate dasyubhir mushiteneva yuktamakranditum bhrisham. Or if until now he was saying the phala of doing this dhyana or sankirtana. Now he is saying what would happen if one did not do it. Ekasmin api atikrante muhurte dhyana varjite. So dhyana varjita meaning without dhyana, atikrante muhurte. Even if one muhurta is allowed to pass.
Hi, Appa. Happy 50th birthday. Hour early.
Ekasmin api atikrante muhurte, by even allowing one muhurta to pass. Atikrama meaning it's past. Dhyana, without dhyana varjate, dasyubhihi mushiteneva yuktamakranditum bhrisham. One must weep out loud as if he was robbed by thieves. Dasyubhihi mushiteneva. Like if choras come and steal everything that he had, he has to weep that loud because he has wasted that much time, is the abhipraya of the shloka, by even wasting one muhurta. Janardanam bhutapatim jagadgurum smaran manushya satatam mahamune dukkhani sarvanyapahanti sadhayati ashesha karyani cha yanyabhipsate. And the shloka here is Sambodhana to a sage. Hey, great sage, man, by always remembering Janardana, the Lord of beings, the world, the teacher of the entire universe, Jagat Gurum, Bhutapatim Jagat Gurum, the Lord of all beings and the Guru of the Jagat, Smaran Manushyaha, by always remembering, by remembering that Ishvara, destroys all his sins and accomplishes whatever he wants. Dukkhani sarvani apahanti sadhayati ashesha karmani. So it destroys unlimited dukkha and papa, which is the cause of dukkha, and ashesha karyani sadhayati, and it is the sadhana, or it allows unlimited karma to be done without any obstacle. Yani abhipsate, whatever he wishes. Abhipsa meaning ichha. Whatever he wishes to do, he can be done without vighna is the tatparya. एकमेकाग्र चित्तः सन् संस्मरन् मधुसूदनं जन्म मृत्यु जराग्राहं संसाराब्धिं तरिष्यति. Abdhi meaning ocean, samsarabdhi meaning the ocean of samsara or samsara sagara is crossed, tarishyati, by ekamekagrachittah, by meditating with concentrated mind upon Madhusudana, samsmaran Madhusudanam, janma mrityu jaragraham, the samsara which is known in the forms of janma, mrityu, and jara, which are birth, death, and old age. Samsaram, this samsarabdhim, this sagara of samsara, tarishyati, is crossed. कलावत्रापि दोषाढ्ये विषयासक्तमानसः कृत्वापि सकलं पापं गोविन्दं संस्मरन् शुचिः. And even in this Kali Yuga, kalau atrapi doshadhye विषय असक्तमानसः कृत्वापि sakalam papam govindam samsmaran shuchihi. So even in this sinful Kali Yuga, a worldly man, though guilty of his papas, becomes pure by meditating upon Govinda. Kritvapi sakalam papam Govinda smaran shuchihi. By doing the smarana of Govinda, he becomes shuchihi, or pure. वासुदेवे मनो यस्य जपहोमार्चनादिषु तस्यान्तरायो मैत्रेय देवेन्द्रत्वादिकं फलम्. So here in this Vishnu Purana quotation, the Sambodhana is being done to Maitreya. And what he is saying is that who has the manas in Vasudeve mano yasya japa homarchanadishu, he tatra antarayah Maitreya devendratvadikam phalam, and he gets even more phala than Devendra. So the tatpara is, to whose mind is devoted to Vasudeva in japa, homa, and archana, meaning japa, homa, havana, and archana, puja, even the glory of the Devendra, Devendratvadikam phalam, tasya antarayah, it becomes also like a vignaha. Even the phala that we get from the kirti of Devendra also is said to be like that. It becomes avigna only. Next he quotes Lokatrayadhipatim apratim Ishat pranamya shirasa prabha vishnumisham janmantara pralaya kalpa sahasrajatam ashu pranasham upayati narasya papam. So once papas are speedily destroyed, even though they might have been accumulating through many past lives, and not just that he elaborates by saying Janmantara Pralaya Kalpa. Not just any Janma recently, in past Pralayas also and past Kalpas also. Now we are in one Kalpa. In the other Kalpa also there was a Chaturyuga. The Kalpa before that there was a Chaturyuga. Not in just this Kalpa and the Chaturyugas. Janmantara Pralaya Kalpa Sahasra Jatam. Sahasra meaning infinite. If he but who down does pranam to Vishnu, Lokatrayadhipatim apratima prabhavam Ishat pranamya. Even just Ishat, meaning very little, by doing the namaskara, shirasa with his head, he is uh, removed from these all the Janmantara papas. Even slightly Ishat pranamya, before the ruler of the three worlds, Lokatrayadhipatim, Apratima Prabhavam, equaled in power, and the ruler of all, his papas are speedily destroyed. Ashu Pranasham, immediately destroyed. Upayati Narasya Papam, that man's papa. एकोऽपि कृष्णस्य कृतः प्रणामः दशाश्वमेधावभृतेन तुल्यः दशाश्वमेधी पुनरेति जन्म कृष्णप्रणामी न पुनर्भवाय न पुनर्भवाय. Or like we saw the Vedokta karmas, like this Ashwamedha, and doing 10 of those Dashashwamedhas, and the Avabhrata, which is said to be done at every yajna, which are very, very complex. Tulyaha or Samaha is this one pranamam or namaskara to Krishna. Ekopi Krishnasya kritah pranamaha. Dashashvamedha vabhrathena tulyaha. Dashashvamedhi punareti janma. Krishna pranami na punarbhavaya. So even the one that does 10 Ashwamedhas, he goes to again a janma. Punaha janma eti. Krishna pranami na punarbhavaya. But the one that does namaskara to Krishna does not come again, or he is not born again. Like we said, all these Swargyadi phalas that are given by the Ashwamedhadi, Agnishtomadi karmas, they are not Shashvata. That's why Krishna says, Etam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. Again, he has to come back to a martyaloka. So, even the one that puts so much effort and does all these yagas, they also have to be born after enjoying the punya phala. But for the one that does pranama to Vishnu or Ishvara, in our sampradaya, they are said to get chitta shuddhi, which becomes a hetu for moksha. So he will not be born again. The next one quotation is Atasi pushpa sankasham pītavāsasa ye namasyanti govindam natesham vidyate bhayam. There is no fear to them who bow down to Govinda, who are resembling like a Atasi pushpa sankasham, like that flower, like the Atasi pushpa, the bhaktas resembling the color of the Atasi pushpa, dressed in white and always the bhaktas who do namaskara to the one that is like Atasi pushpa sankasha, the one that is in the same color of Atasi pushpa, and Pītavāsa samachyutam, the one in the Pīta vastra, ye namasyanti govindam na tesham vidyate bhayam. Tesham bhayam na vidyate, or their bhaya or fear is non-existent. The last quotation he gives for this first padam, Pavitranam Pavitram Yaha, is Sharthenapi Namaskaraha Prayuktas Chakrapanage Samsara Sthula Bandhanam Udvejanakaro Hisaha. So namaskara to the Chakradhari or Chakrapani, the one with the Sudarshana Chakra in hand, even though with bad motives. Sharthyenapi namaskara. Sharthya meaning with evil motives. Sharthyenapi namaskara. Even by evil motives, that namaskara that is done, Chakrapani prayuktaha. Samsara sthula bandhanam udvejanakaraha hi saha. That namaskaraha, saha namaskaraha, udvejanakaraha. It is like laying the axe at the root of the tree of samsara. Samsthara moola bandhanam udvejanakaraha. If we have a tree, you don't need to cut all the branches one by one. Just by aiming at the root itself, the entire tree is destroyed. Like that. Samsara bandhastulanam udvejakaraha isaha. That even that unknowing namaskar. Knowing namaskara, knowing the tattva of Ishvara and doing namaskara is different. Even unknowing, even with bad motives, even for some kamakrodhadi motives, with bad intentions, to do harm also, if we do namaskara. Saha namaskaraha samsthara moola bandhanam udvejanakaraha. And he concludes with saying, Ityadi shruti smriti itihasa purana vachanebhyaha. So this pavitranam pavitram yaha, which we saw at the very beginning, is now being solidified. That same point is being solidified by these Shruti, Smriti, and Itihasa Purana Vakyas. These can be seen from those Vakyas, is the Tatparya here. And that was for the first pada of the shloka. The second pada of the shloka was Mangalanam cha Mangalam. And what is Mangalam? Mangalam Sukham tat sadhanam tad jnapakam cha teshamapi paramananda lakshanam param mangalam iti mangalanam cha mangalam. Mangala in certain in our sadharana Samskrita means mangalam meaning prosperity. Here Shankaracharya says mangalam sukham tat sadhanam tad jnapakam cha. Or mangalam here meaning happiness, its means and the sources. The sadhanam and the jnapakam. Jnapakam meaning source, sadhanam meaning the means to attain sukham. Tesham api paramananda lakshanam. And he is the paramananda lakshanam. Param mangalam iti mangalanam cha mangalam. So the greatest of the mangalas, meaning the mangala that is with no nasha. The nitya mangalam, paramananda mangalam, param mangalam iti mangalanam cha mangalam. So mangalanam cha mangalam meaning the greatest mangalas, even beyond the sukha, the sadhana, and the source of the sukha. And these are characterized by the nirguna chaitanya. For Devatam Devatanam cha, the Tritiyah pada, or the third pada of the shloka. Devatam Devatanam cha, Devanam Devah, Dyotanadibihi Samutkarshena Vartamanatvat. Dyotanadibihi, the one that gives Tejas, the Prakasha, the Devatas, Samutkarshena Vartamanatvat. Because only this Chaitanya Swarupa gives the Tejas to all those Devatas. Dyuti meaning light. Dyotana is a word for Paryaya for Devata. All these Indra, Agni, Mitra, Varuna, they are also called as Dyotana. Dyotanadibhi Samutkarshena Vartamanatvat. So the one that gives the Devatvam to even the Devas, and he stands foremost by shedding his light on all others, all other Devatas, is the Paramam Devam. And Bhutanam Yaha Avyaha Vyayarahitaha Pita Janakaha Yaha Devaha Saha Ekam Deivatam Loke iti Vakyarthaha. So Bhutanam Avyayah Pita Visa. Bhutanam meaning Praninam of the all living beings. Yaha Avyayaha. Avyayaha meaning Vyavarahitaha. Vyayam meaning change. Avyayaha meaning changeless. Vyayarahitaha. Pita or father. Janakaha. Janakaha creator. Yaha Devaha. What Deva? Saha Ekam Deivatam Loke. That is the only Deva in all the Shastras. Loke meaning Shastreshu, Shastre iti Vakyarthaha. So the one Deva that can be seen in the Shastras. And now from here he will quote multiple Vakyarthas supporting the Jiva Brahma Aikya. Many people say that Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma is a polytheistic religion, but they may have not studied completely or studied Advaita, because in the next quotations there will be so many Purva Pakshis saying, oh, there are multiple devatas. What about Jiva and Brahma? Jivatma, Paramatma are two different things. What about Shiva and Vishnu? So many devatas. But that is all antarbhuta of one Eka Chaitanya Vastu, is the Abhipraya of the coming shlokas. I will just go over first the first two shlokas, and we can see the remaining quotations in the next lecture. एको देवः सर्वभूतेषु गूढः सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा कर्माध्यक्षः सर्वभूताधिवासः साक्षी चेता केवलो निर्गुणश्च. Is the first quotation from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. So what this quotation is saying is, he is the one God hidden in all beings, omnipresent, the self within all beings, the Atma within all beings, watching over all karyas. Sakshi. Even in the Mangala Shloka, Shankaracharya said Buddhi Sakshine. Like that, the Sakshi, the seer over, the watching over all works, dwelling in all beings, the witness, the perceiver, and the only one free from attributes. Nirgunascha, gunarahitaha, kevalo nirgunascha. The only being that does not have any attributes, no gunas, no qualities. So he is the one God hidden in all beings. Sarva bhuteshu gudhaha. Gudhaha means rahasya kritaha. The one that is hidden in all beings. Sarva bhuteshu gudhaha. Sarva vyapi, the one that is Vishnu or Sarva vyapi. Sarva bhutantaratma, the self, the Atma within all beings. And karma adhyaksha sarva bhutadhivasaha sakshi cheta kevalo nirgunascha. The self within all beings, watching over all karyas, dwelling in all beings, the sakshi, the witness, the perceiver, and the only one free from gunas, nirgunascha. Again, a very famous quotation is, Yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam, yo vai vedamscha prahinoti tasmai, tam hadevam atmabuddhi prakasham, mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Or it's saying, let me, wanting moksha, approach the protection of God, the manifester of knowledge of the knowledge of Himself. Yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam, yo vai vedamscha prahinoti tasmai. So the knowledge of himself, who at first creates Brahma, yo brahmanam vidadhati purvam, and gives the Vedas, yo vai vedamscha prahinoti tasmai. Tamha devatma buddhi prakasham mumukshurvai sharanamaham prapadye. Or let me desire of moksha, approach the sharanam or the refuge of this God that is the manifester of knowledge of himself. Atma buddhi prakasham, who first created Brahma and then the Vedas. Yo Brahmanam vidadhati purvam, yo vai Vedascha prahinoti tasmai. Mumukshuhu, meaning one that has a ichha for moksha, is called a mumukshuhu. Saranamaham prapadye is the quotation from Iti Shvetashvataranam Mantropanishadi. And two small quotations he gives is Seyam Devataikshata and Ekameva Advitiyam from Chandogya Upanishad. So that deity thought, Seyam Devata Aikshata. So he thought, he wanted, Seyam Devata Aikshata, Ekam Eva Advitiyam, and the one without a second, Ekam Eva Advitiyam, iti Chandogya. Then the question arises, Nanu Katham Ekaha Devaha Jiva Parayor Bhedat. So having saying all this, we say there's only one Devata, one God. Then what about Paramatma, Jivatma and Paramatma? And that is the Purva Paksha. For that also Shankaracharya gives various quotations, which we can continue in the next lecture. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Tatsat Brahmarpanamastu.
Thank you, Pranav. I think we'll have Srinivasan play the Mangala Shlokam, and then we'll have the discussions after that. Thank you. Srini?
मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के, शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिके शंकराचार्यर के, शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिके के, काल भैरवर के, काली दुर्गै के, वीर धीर शूर हनुम मारुति चरणतिर्के, मल्लिकार्जुनर के, செல்வ ஜனார்தனர் கே, அம்பா பவானி கம்பத கணபதி சண்டி சாமுண்டி கே, ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண பகவான் கே, ஸ்ரீ சக்கரவாசினி கே, சீதாராம லக்ஷ்மண சகித மாருதி சரணத்திற்கே, வித்யாரண்யர் கே, विद्याशंकर के, वागीश्वरी के, वज्रदेग गरुड़ आंजनेयर के, श्रीवल्ली देव सेना समेत सुब्रमण्यर के, तुंगभद्रै के, श्रृंगनिवासिनी के, श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிலைத்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே, सच्चिदानंद शिव अभिनव नृसिंह भारती के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु सार्वभौमर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विद्यातीर्थर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु भारती तीर्थर के, श्री चंद्रशेखर भारती गुरु विदुशेखर भारती के, मंगलम गुरु श्री चंद्रमौलीश्वर के, शक्ति गणपति शारदांबिक शंकराचार्यर के, शक्ति गणपति महागणपति शारदांबिகை के, श्रृंगेरी पुरिயில் நிறைந்திருக்கும் எங்கள் சாரதாம்பிகைக்கே.